annual Poetry Out Loud competition. We have 12 students who have put a lot of work and effort into memorizing their poems for you for this event that occurs today. We have 12 students over here. And we'll read out their names here in a minute. Let's give a round of applause for our two of us.
How are y'all doing? I'd like to take a few minutes to introduce our guest judges for this afternoon. Please stand when you hear your name. Our first judge this afternoon is a former math teacher at Toledo Early College. She currently serves as the data coordinator at Falcon, Ms. Sherry Storm. Ms. Storm will be judging accuracy today.
Our second judge is Laura Keller. Laura Keller is a senior lecturer at the University of Toledo. She teaches English, composition, and introduction to gender studies. She's been at the university for 19 years. She writes poetry and short stories and has had a handful of poems published in local literary journals.
Next, Drew Phillip is a screenwriter and author whose work has appeared in Darcy, BuzzFeed, The Guardian, Publishers Weekly, and the Detroit Free Press, among other publications. On April 11, 2017, Scribner will publish his first book of nonfiction, a $500 house in Detroit, rebuilding an abandoned home and an American city. In addition to nonfiction, Drew has been a writer in the film industry, having written 2 feature-length dramas on contract. He lives in Detroit with his dog, Gracio, in a house he built with his own hands from the shell he once purchased for $500.
Most of us know him. We all love him. Our next judge is an award-winning teacher and former English instructor right here at Toledo Early College, Mr. Eric Filter. Walking barefoot in the halls of text, wearing a man bun, and frequently using the expression linguistically falling.
Falling!
Mr. Filter is currently a professor at the University of Toledo in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction. Let's give another round of applause to our guest judges.
Okay, before we get started, I just want to tell you a little bit about how today is going to go. We'll have 2 rounds of recitations. So each person will come up, they'll do their recitation. We'll have our judges do the scoring. Someone will be coming across to collect those, and we have our mathematician, Mr. Robert Shaw. He'll be tabulating the scores. If for some reason one of our students needs a line called, they'll simply say line. And our other English teacher over here, Ms. Paikowski, she'll be giving them their line for them. After our first round, we'll take a short break, and then we'll come back and we'll do round 2. At the end of round 2, we'll decide who the winner is, and we'll announce it at the very end before you guys leave here. All right, let's go.
First up is Sophia Jagley.
Personal, by Tony Copeland. Don't take it personal, they said. But I did. I took it all quite personal. The breeze, and the river, and the color of the fields, the price of grapefruit and stamps, the wet hair of women in the rain. And I cursed what hurt me, and I praised what gave me joy. The most simple-minded of possible responses. The government reminded me of my father, with its deafness and its laws, and the weather reminded me of my mom, with her tropical sprawls. Enjoy it while you can, they said of happiness. Think first, they said of chalk. Get over it, they said at the school of broken hearts. But I couldn't, and I didn't, and I don't believe in the clean break. I believe in the compound fracture, served with the sauce of dirty regret. I believe in saying it all, and taking it all back, and saying it again for good measure while the air fills up with I'm sorries like wheeling birds, and the trees look seasick in the wind. Oh, life, can you blame me for making a scene? You were that yellow caboose, the moon disappearing over a ridge of cloud. I was the dog, chained in some fool's backyard, barking and barking, trying to convince everything else to take it personal too.
Next is Emma Ball.
Advice to a Prophet by Richard Wilbur. When you come, as you soon must, to the streets of our city, mad-eyed from staking the alleys, not proclaiming our fall, but begging us in God's name to have some pity. Spare us all word of the weapons, their force and range, the long numbers that rocket the mind. Our slow, unreckoning hearts will be left behind, unable to fear what is too strange. Nor shall you scare us with the talk of the death of the race. How should we dream of this place without us? The sun may fire, the leaves untroubled about us. A stone look on the stone's face? Speak of the world's own change. Though we cannot conceive of an unjust thing, we know to our cost how the dreamt cloud crumbles, the vines are blackened by frost, how the view alters. We could believe if you told us so, that the white-tailed deer will slip into perfect shade, grown perfectly shy. The lark avoid the reaches of our eye. The jack pine lose its knuckle grip on the cold ledge, and every torrent burn as Xanthus once. Its gliding trout, stun in a twinkling. What should we be without? The dolphin's ark, the dove's return, these things in which we have seen ourselves and spoken? Ask us, prophet, how we shall call our natures forth when the live tongue is all dispelled, the glass obscured or broken, in which we have said to the rose of our love and the clean force of courage, in which beheld the singing locust of the soul and shell, and all we mean or wish to mean. Ask us whether with the wordless rose of our hearts shall fail us. Come demanding whether that be lofty or long-standing, when the bronze annals of the oak tree glows.
Next up is Alexis Isabel.
In a dark time by Theodore Rothgen. In a dark time, the eye begins to see. I meet my shadow in the deepening shade. I hear my echo in the echoing wood, a lord of nature weeping to a tree. I live between the heron and the wren, beasts of the hill and serpents of the den. What's madness but nobility of the soul? At odds with circumstance, the day is on fire. I know the purity of pure despair. My shadow pinned against the sweating wall. That place among the rocks, is it a cave or winding path? The edge is what I have. A steady storm of correspondences, a night flowing with birds, a ragged moon, and in broad day, the midnight come again. A man goes far to find out what he is, dug in the south in a long, tearless night. All natural shapes blazing on natural light. Dark, darker my light, and darker my desire. My soul, like some heat-maddened summer fly, keeps buzzing at the sill. Which I, a fallen man. I climb out of my fear. The mind enters itself, and God the mind. And one is one, free in the tearing wind.
Up next is Cassandra Peacher.
Personal by Tony Hoagland. Don't take it personal, they said. But I did. I took it all quite personal. Breeze in the river and the color of the fields, the price of grapefruit and stamps, the wet hair of woman in the rain. And I cursed what hurt me. And I praised what gave me joy. The most simple-minded of possible responses. The government reminded me of my father, with its deafness and its laws. And the weather reminded me of my mom, with her tropical squalls. Enjoy it while you can. They said of happiness, think first. They said of talk, get over it. They said at the school of broken hearts. But I couldn't and I didn't, and I don't believe in the clean break. I believe in the compound fracture, served with the sauce of dirty regret. I believe in saying it all and taking it all back. And saying it again for good measure, while the air fills up with I'm sorry's, like wheeling birds, and the trees look seasick in the wind. Oh, life, can you blame me for making a scene? You were that yellow caboose, the moon disappearing over a ridge of cloud. I was a dog, chained in some fool's backyard, barking and barking, trying to convince everything else to take it personal too.
To Have Without Holding by Marge Piercy. Learning to love differently is hard. Love with the hands wide open. Love with the doors banging on their hinges, the cupboard unlocked. The wind roaring and whimpering in the rooms, rustling the sheets and snapping the blinds. That thwack like rubber bands in an open palm. It hurts to love wide open, stretching the muscles that feel as if they are made of wet plaster. Then of blunt knives, then of sharp knives. It hurts to thwart the reflexes of grab, of clutch, to love and let go again and again. It pesters to remember the lover who is not in the bed, to hold back what is owed to the world that gutters like a candle in a cave without air, to love consciously, conscientiously, concretely, constructively. I can't do it. You say it's killing me, but you thrive. You glow on the street like a neon raspberry. You float and sail. A helium balloon, bright bachelors button blue, and bobbing on the cold and hot winds of our refuge. As we make and unmake, and passionate diastole and systole, the rhythm of our unbound bonding, to have and not to hold, to love with minimized malice, hunger and anger, moment by moment balanced.
Next is Sarah Samarani.
Mama Said by Calvin Forbes. The slice I ate, I want it back. Those crumbs I swept up, I'd like my share again. I can still taste it like it was. The memory by itself is delicious. Each bite was a small miracle, both nourishing and sweet. I wish I had saved just a little bit. I know it wasn't a literal cake. It's the thought that counts. Like a gift that's not store-bought, making it even more special. Like a dream that makes you want to go back to sleep. You can't have your cake and eat it too, Mama said. I was defiant and hard-headed and answered, yes, I can too. The look she gave me said, boy, I hope you want to fool all your life.
Up next is Gabby Thomas.
Yo, chocolate for breakfast, kid. One leg of your sweatpants rolled up, scrounging at the bottom of your mama's purse for bus fare and gum. Pen broken, you got ink on your thumb, kid. What's good, hot on the cement kid, White Castle kid, tongue stained purple, cussing on the court till your little brother shows up with a half King Park kid. Got that good being science kid. You earned it, kid. Etch your name in a tree. Hug your granny on her birthday. Think of Alaska when they shootin'. Curled up dreams of salmon, safety, tundra. The farthest away place you ever saw in a book. Polar bears and your chess partners. Pickaxe in the ice. Northern Lights kid. Keep your notebook where your cousins won't find it. Leave it on my desk if you want. Shuffle under carbon paper and a stamp that screams late. Yellow and red to draw the eye from the ocean you keep hidden in a jacked up 5-star. Your mama thought there was a secret in there. Thought they would laugh, but that ain't it. It's that flows and flows and flows in lines like those rip-roaring bits you got. Bars to the end of time. You could rap like helium about to bring all of it down to you. None left in the sun. Fuelless. While the last light pushes from your belly, climbing your ribs, and you laugh into the microphone. And who's ready for that?
Next up is Allison Jacksetic.
Bleeding Heart by Carmen Jimenez Smith. My heart is bleeding. It bleeds upward and fills my mouth up with salt. It bleeds because of a city in ruins, the chair still warm from sister's body, because it will all be irreproducible. My heart bleeds because of baby bear not finding mama bear, and it bleeds to the tips of my fingers like I painted my nails crimson. Sometimes my heart bleeds so much I am a raisin. It bleeds until I am a quivering, ragged clot. Bleeds at the ending with the heroine and her sunken cancer eyes. At the ending with the plaintive flute over smoke-choked killing fields. I am bleeding a river of blood right now, and it's wearing a culvert in me for the blood. My heart rises up in me, becomes the cork of me, and I choke on it. I am bleeding for you and for me and for the tiny babies and the IED blown leg. It bleeds because I'm made that way, all filled up with blood. My sloppy heart, a sponge filled with blood to squeeze onto any circumstance. Because it is mine, it will always bleed. My heart bled today. It bled onto the streets and the steps of City Hall. It bled in the pizza parlor with the useless jukebox. I've got so much blood to give inside and outside of any milieu. Even for a bad zoning decision, I'll bleed so much, you'll be bleeding. All of us, bleeding. In and out like it's breathing or kissing. And because it is righteous and terrible and right.
Up next is Ruby Steele.
Speak by Philip B. Williams. A storm and so a gift. Its swift approach lifts gravel from the road. A fence is flattened in the course of the storm's worst attempt at language. Thunders on bridge. A tree is torn apart, blown upward through a bedroom window. A boy winnows through the pile of shards for the sharpest parts from the blown apart glass. He has a bag that holds found edges, jagged as a stag's horns or smooth as a single pane, smashed into smaller panes that he sticks his hand into to make blood web across his acheless skin, flexing like fish gills. Oh, lit for a scream it cannot make. He wants to feel what his friends have felt, the slant of fear on their faces he could never recreate, his body configured without pain. When his skin's pouting welts don't rake a whimper from his mouth,
He runs outside, arms up for the storm. Aluminum baseball bat held out to the sky. Until lightning, with an electric tongue, makes his viscera luminescent. The boy's first word for pain is the light's new word for home.
Up next is Toledo Wesley.
Dear Reader, by Rita Mays. You have forgotten it all. You have forgotten your name, where you live, who you loved. Why? I am simply your nurse, terse and unlovely. I point to things and remind you what they are. Chair, book, daughter, soup. And when we are alone, I tell you what lies in each direction. This way is death, and this way, after a longer walk, is death, and that way is death, but you won't see it until it is right in front of you. Once, after your niece had been to visit, you and I said something about how you must love her, or she must love you, or something useless like that. You gripped my forearm in your terrible swift hand and said she is everything. You gave me a shake. Everything to me. And then you fell back into the well, deep in the well of everything. And I stand at the edge and call chair, book, daughter, soup.
Up next is Lindsay Highgarter.
It Couldn't Be Done by Edgar Albert Guest. Somebody said it couldn't be done, but he, with a chuckle, replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with the trace of a grin. On his face, if he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, "Oh, you'll never do that." At least no one ever has done it. But he took off his coat and he took off his hat, and the first thing we knew, he'd begun it. With the lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quit it, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you one by one the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it.
And our final recitator for round 1 is Grace Mullen.
Ode to the Hotel Near the Children's Hospital by Kevin Young. Praise the restless beds. Praise the beds that don't not adjust. Praise the beds that won't lift the head to feed or lower her shots, her blood, her raised to watch the tinny TV. Praise the hotel TV that won't quit its murmur and holler. Praise the room service that doesn't exist. Just the slow delivery to the front desk of cooling pizzas and brown bags, leaky, greasy, and clear. Let's praise the vending machines and praise the change. Praise the hot water and the heat with the loud cool that helps the helpless sleep. Praise the front desk who knows to wake up room 120 when the hospital rings. And praise the silent phone. Praise the dark drawn by thick daytime curtains after long nights of waiting. Awake. Praise the waiting. And praise the nothing. It's better than bad news. Praise the wake-up call at 6 a.m. Praise sleeping in. Praise the card hung up on the door like a whisper. Lips pressed, silent. Praise the stranger's hands that changed the sweat of sheets. And Praise the checking out. Praise the going home to beds unmade for days. Pets that won't resurrect or rise, that lie there like a child should. Sleeping. Tubeless. Praise this mess that can be left.
Now, a 10-minute break before resuming round two.
All right. To start off round two, I'd like to call up Sophia Jacob.
War Widow by Chris Abani. The telephone never rings. Still, you pick it up, smile into the static, the breath of those you've loved, long dead. The leaf you pick from the fall rises and dips away with every ridge. Fingers stiff from time, you trace. Staring off into a distance limned by cataracts and other collected debris, you have forgotten none of the long ago joy of an ice cream truck and its summer song. Between the paving stones, between tea, a cup, and the sound of you pouring, between the time you woke that morning and the time when the letter came, tired sorrow, like an old flagellant, able only to tease with a weak string. Riding the elevator all day, floor after floor after floor, each stop some small victory, whittled from the hard stone of death. You smile. They used to write epics about moments like this.
Up next is Emma Gall.
Movement Song by Audrey Lorde. I have studied the tight curls on the back of your neck, moving away from me, beyond anger or failure. Your face in the evening schools of longing, through mornings of wish and ripen, we were always saying goodbye, in the blood, in the bone of her coffee, before dashing for elevators, going in opposite directions, without goodbyes. Do not remember me as a bridge, nor a roof, as the maker of legends, nor as a trapdoor to that world where black and white clericals hang on the edge of beauty in 5 o'clock elevators, twitching their shoulders to avoid other flesh, and now there is someone to speak for them. Moving away from me into tomorrow's morning of wish and ripen, your goodbye is a promise of lightning in the last angel's hand. Unwelcome and warning. The sands have run out against us. We were rewarded by journeys away from each other, into desire, into mornings alone where excuse and endurance mingle, conceiving decision. Do not remember me as disaster, nor as the keeper of secrets. I am a fellow rider in the cattle cars, watching you move slowly out of my bed, saying, we cannot waste time, only ourselves.
Next up, Lexus Isabel.
Ways of Talking by Hodgson. We used to like talking about grief. Our journals and letters were packed with losses, complaints, and sorrows. Even if there was no grief, we wouldn't stop lamenting, as though longing for the charm of a distressed face. Then, we couldn't help expressing grief. So many things descended without warning. Labor wasted, love's lost, house is gone, marriage is broken, friends estranged, ambitions worn away by immediate needs. Words lined up in our throats for a good whining. Grief seemed like an endless river, the only immortal flow of life. After losing a land and giving up a tongue, we stopped talking of grief. Smiles begin to brighten our faces. We laugh a lot at our own mess. Things become beautiful. Even hailstones in the strawberry fields.
I would like to call up Cassandra Petrie.
A Song in the Front Yard by Gwendolyn Brooks. I've stayed in the front yard all my life. I want to pick at the back, where it's rough and untended and hungry weed grows. A girl gets sick of a rose. I want to go in the backyard now, and maybe down the alley to where the charity children play. I want a good time today. They do some wonderful things. They have some wonderful fun. My mother sneers. But I say it's fine how they don't have to go in at 8:45. My mother, she tells me that Johnny May will grow up to be a bad woman. That George will be taken to jail sooner or late. On account of last winter, he sold our back gate. But I say it's fine. Honest, I do. And I'd like to be a bad woman too. Yeah. And wear the brave stockings of night black lace and strut down the streets with paint on my face.
I'd like to call up Sophia Perry.
Auto Lullaby by Franz Wright. Think of a sheep knitting a sweater. Think of your life getting better and better. Think of your cat asleep in a tree. Think of that spot where you once skinned your knee. Think of a bird that stands in your palm. Try and remember the 21st song. Think of a big pink horse galloping south. Think of a fly and close your mouth. If you feel thirsty, then drink from your cup. The birds will keep singing until they wake up.
There we go. Up next is Sarah Summeron.
Ode to the Midwest by Kevin Young. The country I come from is called the Midwest. Bob Dylan. I want to douse in cheese and fried. I want to wander the aisles, my heart's supermarket stocked high as cholesterol. I want to die wearing a sweatsuit. I want to live forever in a Christmas sweater, a teddy bear nursing off the front. I want to write a check in the express lane. I want to scrape my driveway clean myself early before anyone's awake. That'll put him to shame. I want to see what the sun sees before it tells the snow to go. I want to be the only black person I know. I want to throw out my back and not complain about it. I want to drive 2 blocks. Why walk? I want love and stuff.
I want to cut my sutures myself. I want to jog down to the river and make it my bed. I want to walk its muddy banks and make me a withdrawal. I tried jumping in, found it frozen. I'll go home, I guess. To my rooms where the moon changes and shines like television.
I would like to call up Gabby Thomas.
Poem for Haruka by June Jordan. I never thought I'd keep a record of my pain or happiness. Like candles lighting the entire soft lace of the air around the full length of your hair. A shower, organized by God. In brown and auburn, undulations luminous like particles of flame. But now I do. Retrieve an afternoon of apricots and water interspersed with cigarettes and sand and rocks. He walked across. How easily you held my hand beside the low tide of the world. Now I do. Relive an afternoon of retreat, a bridge I left behind where all the solid heat of lust and tender trembling lay as cruel and as kind as passion spins its infinite tergiversations in between the bitter and the sweet. Alone and longing for you, now I do.
Next, Allison Jackson.
The Lamb by Linda Gregg. It was a picture I had after the war. A bombed English church. I was too young to know the word English or war, but I knew the picture. The ruined city still seemed noble. The cathedral, with its roof blown off, was not less godly. The church was the same, plus rain and sky. Birds flew in and out of the holes God's fist made in the walls. All our desire for love or children is treated like rags by the enemy. I knew so much and sang anyway, like a bird who will sing until it is brought down. When they take away the trees, the child picks up a stick and says, "This is a tree. This is the house and the family." As we might, through a door of what had been a house, into the field of rubble walks a single lamb, tilting its head, curious, unafraid, hungry.
Next up, Ruthie Steele.
Mr. Darcy by Victoria Chang. In the end, she just wanted the house and a horse, not much more. What if he didn't own the house, or worse, not even a horse? How do we separate the things from a man, the man from the things? Is a man still the same without his reins? Here, it rains every 15 minutes. It would be foolish to marry a man without an umbrella. Did Cinderella really love the prince, or just the prince on the curtains in the ballroom? Once I went window shopping, but I didn't want a window. When do you know it's time to get a new man? One who can win more things at the fair. I already have 4 stuffed pandas from the fair. I won fair and square. Is it time to be less square? To wear something more revealing? In North and South, she does the dealing. Gives him the money in the end. But she falls in love with him. When he has the money. When he is still running away. If the water is running in the other room, is it wrong for me to not want to chase it because it owns nothing else? When I wave to a man, I love what happens when another man, with a lot more bags, waves back.
Next, I would like to call up Denasia Wesley.
Over and Under by John Grimm. So sexy to slide underneath a river, to sit inside this snake-like submarine-like subway car, and freely imagine the world above. The Brooklyn Bridge, invisibly trembling with the weight of its own beauty. The East River, still guided by the grooves Walt Whitman's eyes wore in it. And the bulldog tugboats, pushing the passively impressive broad-bottomed barges around. And the double-decker orange and black Staten Island ferries, with their aura of overworked pack mule mourners. And beyond them, the Atlantic Ocean, which I lately learned was brought here by ice comets 3 billion years ago, which explains a few things, like why everybody feels so alienated, and of course, the thoughts being thought by every person in New York City at this moment. Vast schools of undulating fish, curving and rising in the cloud-swirling, wind-waved sky, surrounded by the vaster emptiness of none thought, which holds them and which they try not to think about. And you, lying in bed in your 6th floor walk-up sublet on St. Mark's Place, such a breath, taking ascension, imagining me rising now to meet you.
Next, Lindsay Highbarger.
All This and More by Mary Carr. The Devil's Tour of Hell did not include a factory line where molten lead spilled into mouths held wide. No electric drills spiraled screws into hands and feet, nor giant pliers to lower you into simmering fat. Instead, a circle of light opened on your stuffed armchair, whose chintz orchids did not boil and change. And the devil adjusted your new spiked antenna almost delicately, with claws curled and lacquered black, before he spread his leather wings to leap into the acid green sky. So your head became a TV hall, a gargoyle mirror, your doppelganger sloppy at the mouth and swollen at the joints, enacted your days in sinuous, slow motion. Your lines delivered with a mocking sneer. Sometimes the frame froze, reversed, began again. The red eyes of a friend you cursed, your girl child cowered behind the drapes, parents alive again, and puzzled by this new form. That's why you clawed your way back to this life.
Our last recitator for today's competition is Grace Mullins.
No!
The Obligation to Be Happy by Linda Paston. Go girl! It is more onerous than the rights of beauty or housework, harder than love. But you expect it of me, casually, the way you expect the sun to come up, not in spite of rain or clouds, but because of them. And so, I smile, as if my own fidelity to sadness were a hidden vice, that downward tug at my mouth, my own suspicion that health and love are brief irrelevancies, no more than laughter in the warm, dark strangled at dawn. Happiness. I try to hoist it on my narrow shoulders again, a knapsack heavy with gold coins. I stumble around the house. I bump into things. Only Midas himself would understand.
Okay, we're going to take another brief 10-minute break. We'll be back in here to announce our winner. Let's give another round of applause for all of our judges. We have a certificate for each of you, so we're going to call your name. And Laura Samarani, our winner from last year, she's going to give it to you. In no particular order. All right. Sophia Jangley.
Go, Sophie! Yes!
Emma Gall. Alexis Isabel. Cassandra Petrie. Sophia Parrish. Sarah Samarani. Gabby Thomas. Allison Jackson. Ruthie Steele. Denasia Wesley. Lindsay Heibarger. And Grace Mullinex. Let's give them another round of applause. The winner of our competition this afternoon will move on to Findlay on February 21st to compete for the regional competition. So our runner-up is Cassandra Petrie. And our winner of the 2017 Poetry Out Loud competition for Toledo Early College is... Drum roll. I love my job. Sarah Samarani. Thank you guys all so much for coming this afternoon. Special thanks to Vito's Pizza for providing lunch for our judges and our competitors. Go out and buy Vito's, please. Thank you again so much. Have a good night.